Action.
Now, it's hard talking about what I'm going to talk about because, well, I shouldn't say hard. It's difficult for people to listen to what I'm about to talk about because they hold it so dear to their heart. It's so important to them. And I respect that. So I just want to start off the video by saying that no matter what your religious or spiritual beliefs are, I respect them. However, I do have a major issue when it comes to religion and how it's pretty much worshipped in the United States. Here's the thing, we live in a culture of consumerism. You know, we have this idea that in order to have a healthy economy, healthy life, a happy life, be successful, you need to consume things. You need to purchase services. You need to donate even. You know, you need to basically spend money. It's a part of this materialistic tendency that our culture has. That's not to say that, you know, that whole process in and of itself, you know, makes people like inherently false or anything like that. Honestly, it's an indoctrination system. You're raised from birth to appreciate these values. And if you don't appreciate them, you're considered an outlier or someone who, you know, even some people will go as far as to say you're un-American or gonna go to hell even. It's kind of weird how they mix nationalism and religion so eerily like the Nazis. Whenever you have religion in particular, and you have how people worship their God, and in the United States their poison of choice is Christianity, it's odd the level of materialism that's involved with this process. You're taking something that's supposed to be benign in nature, something that's supposed to be fulfilling, spiritually speaking, and something that's supposed to basically fill that hole that you have inside of you, and you're supposed to essentially use that for the rest of your life so that you don't kill yourself or other people, I assume. It makes you happy, and I understand that. However, what I don't understand is how people are so accepting of the bullshit that so many religious people and religions themselves, or I should say religious sects within Christianity in this country, espouse. The chief deniers of climate change are people who are on the right wing, specifically evangelicals in this country. They think that it's like a communist, satanic, liberal conspiracy to get you to go green. Oh no. And essentially, you also have people who are very, very critical of science and the scientific process, specifically the scientific method. And so they'll very, very astutely claim that, you know, evolution is a lie, evolution, excuse me. And however, at the same time, they'll, you know, be okay with vaccines and medicine in general, I guess. You know, they're okay with going to the supermarket and purchasing their genetically modified food, but they're not okay with, you know, how we came to understand that through evolution. Now, I digress really because that's not necessarily the point of how stupid their points are. What the point of this video is how stupid the whole thing is. You have religion being reduced to essentially the quality of a very good Us Weekly magazine. I mean, you're having even things like prayer drive-thrus popping up in the United States, you know, and this is absurd because you have to literally liken the idea of prayer and religion to something that they're familiar with, you know, a drive-thru, consumerism, you know, consuming things. You have to turn religion into a product, and that's the only way to genuinely sell it to, well, children, and then have those children grow up into functional or semi-functional adults and indoctrinate their children with the same ideology. You know, the familiarity of this and the irony really of this is that you're taking something that really is soulless, absolutely soulless, like marketing, advertising, consumerism in general, and you're trying to basically cure your soul with that process through religion. Look at how popular televangelism is in the United States. I mean, look at people like Pat Robertson. You know, Pat Robertson is an old, senile son of a bitch, and he is incredibly backward. I mean, he'll quote passages from the Quran to basically show how Islam is an evil and violent religion and how their God, which is the same God of Christianity, mind you, is an evil and violent God, while at the same time justifying violence, saying that violence is a necessary evil only when God condones it, when you look at the Old Testament. This level of hypocrisy is staggering. And the fact that, I mean, I know that not everyone listens to Pat Robertson, and I respect that, but the fact that people follow this ideology and they follow this line of thinking to where you can literally look at the same fucking book and have thousands of different interpretations of it. Did you know that there are more interpretations of the New Testament than there are actual words in the New Testament? Let that sink in for a second. If the Word of God were the Word of God, why is it so open to interpretation? And why isn't He the only God? Whenever you look at religion in the United States, these people have this idea that it's infallible, like their faith is something that is infinite, ever-growing, and it's justified because it feels good. And when you try and appeal to their rational side, because everyone has one, we all have a frontal lobe, it's right here. And everyone is capable of the same level of thinking as me, as the gentleman sitting behind the camera. Everyone. And the fact that people suppress that to go with their reptilian brain, to go with fear, anxiety, tribalism, us against them, because it feels good, that alone is frustrating. Think of any product review. Whenever you buy into a product, what do you're getting something out of it. Like we buy this camera to record videos, to take pictures. We buy the microphone so that you can hear what the fuck's going on. You buy an Xbox to play video games, get entertainment, stuff like that. You buy clothes because it's illegal to go outside naked. I really think that's the main reason. Of course, people like dressing up, ruffling their feathers and shit like that. But when you buy into religion, what do you get out of it? You only get this sense of satisfaction knowing that you have the answer. And I think the scary part is that even though you think you have the answer, deep down inside, you know you don't. This is why you have faith. Without faith, you're just like any of us. A dumb fucking ape walking around on a planet in the middle of a goddamn abyss of nothingness. You become scared. The initial reaction is fear. When I was a very, very devout Christian myself, and I became a little bit more questioning, or critical, I should say, of the good book, reading it really didn't help me sustain my faith. I became nervous because I was raised on this idea my entire life that if you do good, you go to heaven, if you do terrible, you go to hell, and that bad people rightfully get what they deserve in the afterlife. That isn't enough to sustain an ideology. With an ideology, you need to have purpose. And what is your purpose? You're consuming blindly. You're taking the passages that they want to feed to you and you're eating them up as if you're starving. But you're not starving. You're just as alive as I am. You can think just as much as I can. It comes down to questioning the motives of your religion. You want to talk about the greatest conspiracy theory of all. By far, religion has taken the prize. There is nothing justified in having faith in the unprovable. If I tell you fucking unicorns, there are many unicorns that have 6 hooves on 4 legs live in my shoes, obviously you're going to question that. If I write a book and I say, well, it says it here that they do, obviously you're going to be like, dude, you just wrote that yourself, you're a dick. But when I show you my shoes and you see that there's nothing in them, logically you go, oh, I got you. There's no unicorns with 6 hooves and 4 legs in your shoes. I just say that you can't see it and that it's ethereal, so you can't touch it, taste it, smell it, or anything like that. And then you ask me, well, then how do you know? And I just tell you I have faith. You'd think me a loony, as you should. What's the difference between that and an organized religion? It's tax-free. There's no reasoning behind it. And here's the thing. The people who sell this to you know this. There are countless stories of priests within the Catholic Church, random pastors of like Baptist, like non-organized Baptist and or just Protestant in general churches that they have their own, like the Westboro Baptist Church, for example. They're not associated with any grand organization. It's just a church by itself. You have these pastors who come out saying I lost my faith a long time ago and I kept doing it because I didn't know what to do. Because you're afraid. It's a big change. But you don't believe in the Tooth Fairy anymore. You don't believe in Santa Claus anymore. You don't believe in the Easter Bunny anymore. They have to turn it into a product, and they have to sell it to you. That's what's happening. It's someone taking a benign concept like spirituality, faith. Because, every human being has faith to some degree in something. But you should have faith rooted in reason. Faith rooted in the provable. Because if you're walking around the world with your head in the clouds, you don't see what's on the ground. You're not capable of understanding what's really happening. Don't let your faith blind you from the world. Don't let your religion blind you from reality. And do not, at all, respect those who peddle it to you, who beg you to donate. You can create a sense of community from a church. And that's honestly the main reason why I feel people go, is because they feel like they belong to something. But once you shed just that fear, once you remove the shackles of faith from your mind, you realize that even on your own, sitting alone in a room, you're more connected to the world than anything else that you can think of. Because you're aware of it. You are aware of your presence. You like to say that we separate ourselves from nature, but you are nature. And when you die, the earth's going to absorb you and reuse you. And as you live, your actions affect everyone on the planet. And I know it's hard to think of you like that, because you're constantly told how broken you are, how alone you are, and how you need to be healed. You are not broken. You're just blinded. But the great thing about this type of blindness is that it's very temporary. It's a rag over your eyes that you simply need to remove. It's not like your eyes will be gouged out. Seeing the world, humanity, the universe, and yourself for what it really is more important than feeling good about the afterlife. Because no matter how many words are spoken, no matter how many promises are made, no matter how much you dedicate your life to your fucking church, none of it is real. And so, that's it. Thank you, of course, for watching. If you have anything to say, please say it in the comment section below. Like it if you like, dislike if you don't, and as always, you have yourself a wonderful rest of your day.